Okay, now we're going to be practicing our partitioning by partitioning some shapes into equal shares. First, you're going to need to get a couple of items. I would like you to have some paper, a pencil, or something else to write with. And if you have a ruler, if you'd like to get one, you can. You don't need it. It'll just help you draw some straight lines. So go ahead and pause the video while you gather those materials. Okay, here are the directions to do our activity. You're going to be given a shape and a fraction to partition that shape into. You're going to draw the shape on your paper, and then you need to partition it correctly. And boys and girls, it's okay if your circles and squares aren't perfectly drawn. You're not going to be turning this into anyone. This is just for your practice only. So don't get upset and don't get worried if it's not perfect. Okay, here we go. Here's your first one. I would like you to partition a square into 2 equal parts. Remember, you can pause the video to give yourself some time to do this. Here's the answer. Look at all those possibilities that you could have done. All of these shapes, all of these squares have been partitioned into 2 equal parts. So you can make a vertical line up and down, straight in the middle. You can do a horizontal line across, straight in the middle, going across, or you could do diagonals in either direction. And all of these would give you a square that is partitioned into 2 equal parts. All right, let's move on to the next one. This time, partition a circle into 2 halves. Again, pause the video if you need to. All right, here comes your answer. And again, we have several options to partition a circle into 2 halves. So all of these first are circles. There's 1 half and there's a second half. I can put the line up and down. I can do the line across. I can do the line diagonal, either direction. Boys and girls, did you know that if I took this circle and turned it around, it's going to come out to be this or this? You can go ahead and try that on your paper. Take your paper and turn it around and see you have the same exact shape, same exact circle partitioned into 2 halves in many different ways. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This time, partition a circle into 4/4. All right, here comes the answer. All right, look at all those options. Again, we have our circles, and they're in 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of them. Each one of those is called a fourth. So there are 4/4 together that go to make this whole circle. So I can do it this way, the same way. I can make it an X. There are lots of different ways. And again, if you take your paper and turn it around, you will see that 4/4 can look the same. Just turn it around and look at it from a different perspective. All right, here's your next one. I would like you to partition a rectangle into thirds. Here comes the answer. Okay, let's take a look at this one for a second. This rectangle up here is partitioned into thirds. There are 1, 2, 3 parts. Again, this one right over here is also in 1, 2, 3 parts. And notice those parts are equal. That's the most important thing you have to remember. This one is in 1, 2, 3 parts, but they're not all equal. The top 2 pieces are equal, but look how much bigger this bottom piece is down here. If this was a piece of cake and you were given this little piece and your friend was given this little piece and Mrs. Akinini took this piece at the bottom, you wouldn't be very happy with me because I got a lot more than you and your friend. So this one right here, nope, that is not partitioned into thirds. All right, let's go on, try another one. And for this one, I want you to partition a square into 3 equal shares. Again, make sure you're pausing the video so you have time to draw your square and partition it. Here comes the answer. All right, let's take a look at this one too. The top two are in 3 equal shares. 1, 2, 3 equal shares. 1, 2, 3 equal shares. But take a look at this one down here. Again, it's in 3. 1, 2, 3. But those pieces aren't equal. And if they're not equal, then we can't say it's partitioned correctly. So that one, nope, that one is not going to work. And anything else that you have on your paper that doesn't look like this square or this square is not going to be correct. To partition a square into 3 equal shares, there's only 2 ways. Okay, now I want you to partition a rectangle into 4 equal parts. When you do this one, I want you to think about the other ways that you could do this that we just talked about. Think about that carefully. Okay, let's see what the answers are, because there are many answers for this. Oh my goodness, look at all those answers for this one. Do you remember we talked about how here's our rectangle? So I started out with a rectangle. These two up here are the same shape. One has just been turned. And again, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. Down here, I did the same thing. I just made it look like a window. I made a line down the middle and then a line across, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. These two right here look a little bit different. Do you remember what we just talked about with our squares? I can take my shape, if it's a rectangle or square, cut it in half. And then I can take that half and cut each one of those in half. This one I cut in half up and down vertically, but then this side I cut in half diagonal. I know it's hard to really see, but these 4 pieces would be the same. And down here, I have 4 triangles that are equal. All right, boys and girls, I hope you were able to partition your rectangles and squares and circles correctly. And now you're going to move on to the next slide to do your today's activity.